All right, folks. I'm so sorry for muting myself and continuing this. So I will start from the beginning. So I was saying that today we will talk about middleware services. And let me introduce myself again. I'm Zainab Kujur. I work at Huawei Cloud as an expert for cloud. And in today's agenda, we will have an overview of middleware services, origins of middleware, where it rooted from, and how it is right now in today, and the types of middleware, the common types, and distributed cache service. We will talk about Huawei Cloud's middleware services. We will talk about API Gateway, distributed message service for Kafka, RabbitMQ, RabbitMQ, and Cloud Service Engine, multi-site high availability service, and Event Grid. So let's start with an overview of the middleware. Here we see a definition by Wikipedia. Basically, it says that middleware is a software, so it sits between the operating system and applications run on it. It's a type of computer software program that provides services to software applications beyond those available from the operating system. It can be described as software glue, so it's basically gluing them together. Middleware makes it easier for software developers to implement communication and input-output so they can focus on the specific purpose of their application. It basically lifts the burden off from the developer's shoulders. So, like I said, it basically works as a hidden translation layer. It makes sure distributed applications can communicate and manage data easily in between them. People often call middleware services as plumbing because it connects two apps together so they can pass data back and forth. So if you think about a plumbing, it's like kind of like a water, plumbing through pipes. So for example, middleware lets you do things like submit a form on a website, and it makes sure the website server can return personalized web pages based on your profile. And some common types of middleware, I will talk about it, but let me mention here now as well. They include database middleware. It connects apps to databases, application server middleware, message-oriented middleware, abbreviated as MUM. And those things handle messaging between apps, web middleware for websites, and transaction processing monitors. And if we look at the origins of middleware, it first came about in the late 1960s. Back then, it acted as a bridge between the front end of an application and the back end, like databases or mainframes, where the data was stored and processed. And essentially, it allowed the front end to request data from those back end resources, making communication between them possible. As distributed computing started to grow in 1980s, where systems were spread across different locations, middleware became more popular. It helped link new apps with older legacy systems, allowed them to work together smoothly, even if they were built on different technologies. Imagine there was a old technology and a new one. So the middleware makes it possible for them to communicate together, linking them together. So today's middleware does way more than just connecting front end and back ends. For instance, Portal middleware manages both user-facing part and the tools needed to connect to the back end, handling the whole data flow. And database middleware can even have its own storage, making it part of the database infrastructure itself. Middleware has also evolved to play a big role in cloud-native development. I mentioned our last DTT last week was about cloud-native. So we know that in cloud-native, the apps are built for the cloud. So when we talk about cloud-native apps, these are apps built specifically for cloud environments. And they are more flexible and scalable because they are based on the cloud. So middleware now uses container technology, which packages apps and all their dependencies so they can run anywhere. This helps DevOps teams connect resources that are spread across multiple clouds more easily. This also supports the CI/CD pipelines, the continuous integration and delivery pipelines, and allows developers to automatically integrate and deploy code faster. So this speeds up testing, coding, and deployment, helps companies grow and scale quickly. So basically, DevOps and the middleware services enable companies to work faster and lifts the burden off of the developers' shoulders. So you don't have to, worry about the, managing the infrastructure systems. So when it comes to types of middleware, there are quite a few, and they all serve different purposes. I have mentioned some before. Some are designed specifically for handling different kinds of connections, like making sure different systems can talk to each other, while others focus on supporting particular applications or devices. For example, some middleware is built to connect components in a specific way, maybe to handle messaging between apps or to allow data to flow from one system to another. Then you got middleware that's designed specifically for a certain task in the software development process. It might combine multiple features like making it easier to solve complex problems like managing security, communication, or data storage, all in one go. So let's proceed with the next slide to look at some common types of middleware and what Huawei Cloud, offers as solutions. So let's talk about. I will, talk about the middlewares one by one. First, I will mention. I will talk about what they are, and then I will tell you about the Huawei Cloud solution. So when we're talking about caching middleware, it's really all about improving the speed and performance of an application. And how does it do it? So what this middleware does is to store data that gets that gets accessed a lot in memory. So let's say there's a data and everybody is requesting it, commonly, and we don't have to, we don't store it in the database. We store it in the RAM, and then we retrieve that data from the RAM. So this is what caching middleware does. So it stores the data that gets accessed a lot in memory rather than constantly going back to the main database every time when it's needed. This reduces the load on your database. So it's, lifts the burden off from your database and makes everything run faster. What would be a great example is Huawei Cloud's distributed cache service. This service uses tools like Redis or Memcached to store frequently accessed data in memory. So instead of querying the database constantly, it grabs the data from the memory. It's super quick and efficient. And we know that there are some, huge applications that, solely run on RAM because they want fast performance. Let's continue with API management middleware. So we can understand from the meaning, the title, basically API management. What it does is pretty simple, but super important. It helps manage, route, and secure all the APIs that connect different apps and services. You can think of APIs as the go-between that lets these systems talk to each other. API management middleware makes sure all this communication happens smoothly and securely. And what about Huawei Cloud API Gateway? So in Huawei Cloud, the API Gateway is what handles this. It controls who gets access to your APIs and makes sure they're secure. And also, it makes scaling really easy. So as more users or services start connecting, it can handle that load without breaking a sweat. In short, it's the piece of middleware that makes sure all your systems are connected, safe, and running efficiently. So I will get into more of Huawei Cloud middleware services in the next slide. If we let's continue with the the type of middleware that is called message-oriented middleware. Maybe most of us heard about this from Kafka. So MOM, basically message-oriented middleware, is really about helping different systems talk to each other by passing messages back and forth. It's super important in distributed systems where parts of the system might be in different locations, but still need to communicate. So what makes message-oriented middleware versatile is that it supports both synchronous messaging, where the sender waits for a response, and asynchronous messaging, where the sender can move on without waiting for a reply. Now let's break down a few examples from Huawei Cloud. For example, the first one, distributed message service for Kafka. We have three different services solutions for message-oriented middleware. First one is distributed message service for Kafka. This one is perfect if you're dealing with streaming data in real time. It helps process and distribute data across different systems through Kafka, which is known. So Kafka is known for handling large volumes of data and making sure it's streamed reliably. It's great for things like event streaming and real-time analytics. And let's continue with distributed message service for RabbitMQ. This service is more focused on asynchronous communication. With RabbitMQ, your apps can send messages without waiting for an immediate response. So it's reliable and ensures that messages get delivered even if the recipient isn't immediately available. And if we continue with RocketMQ, if you're looking for high throughput and reliability, RocketMQ is your go-to service. It's designed for large-scale distributed systems and can handle huge amounts of data while ensuring it is delivered quickly and reliably. By the way, let me mention, we of course have 2 runs of Kahoot in this DTT session. So I hope you wait for it and join it because it's really fun for me as well. So let's continue with this middleware. The microservices middleware supports the development, deployment, and management of microservices architectures. It ensures smooth communication between individual services. And we have Cloud Service Engine for this. It helps build, deploy, and manage microservices based on applications, offers tools for scaling, monitoring, and service management. Then we have high availability and disaster recovery middleware. This type of middleware ensures that systems remain operational and that they can recover quickly from failures by providing redundancy and replication across multiple sites. So we have, for Huawei Cloud, we have multi-site high availability service. It ensures high availability and business continuity by replicating services across different locations. So basically, it offers disaster recovery solutions. And for event-driven architecture middleware, we have Event Grid. What is event-driven architecture middleware? Event-driven middleware is a middleware that allows applications to respond to real-time events, enables loosely coupled scalable systems that react to change as they occur. And our service is a serverless event bus service. It handles real-time event routing and processing, facilitates event-driven architectures. So let's continue with our Kahoot. One second. I'm sorry, one second. Yes. Trying to get on your website, your computer, personal desktop computer. So while we're waiting for it, let me go over what middleware services are and what middleware was and how it originated. I told you that middleware is a type of software, computer software program that provides services to software applications beyond those available from the operating systems. They can be described as software glue. They're basically, enabling the communication between different types of applications. People often call it plumbing. I said because they connect two apps together, so they can pass data back and forth. I said that middleware started in the 1960s as a bridge between front-end and back-end systems like databases, and gained popularity in the 1980s, and that there are various types of middleware. The caching middleware basically stores frequently accessed data in memory. And then API management middleware is basically, helping to manage root and security APIs. Then there are message-oriented middleware that it facilitates the communication between distributed systems through message passing. And then the microservices middleware supports the development, deployment, and management of the microservices architectures. And then there was high availability and disaster recovery middlewares that ensures that systems remain operational and recover quickly from failures. And then there was event-driven architectural middleware. We have our event grid service, which is a serverless event bus service that handles real-time event routing and processing. So there are 11 people. I will start the DTT. The Kahoot now. It's a true or false question. Middleware helps different applications communicate, exchange data, even if they are built using different technologies. Okay, let's proceed with the second question of the first round. Congratulations, Melike, for responding right and being the fastest one to respond. Which of the following is a type of message-oriented middleware? I'm curious of how many people will respond right. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 answers now. 9, 10. All right, only 3 seconds left. 2 and 1. Apache Kafka is the right answer. I talked about it as Huawei's solution as well. Apache Kafka, RabbitMQ, and RocketMQ. So let's see who is the winner. All right, Melike, congratulations. Okay, I will proceed. We will please, Melike, contact us on WhatsApp, and then we will send you your gift. Let me proceed with the middleware services again. I hope you all see my screen now. So in the previous slides, I have mentioned the types of middleware. I started with caching middleware, and we will explore each one by one. So Huawei has a distributed cache service, but first let me remind you what a cache service was. It's basically a way to store data temporarily in memory so that it can be accessed super quickly, instead of going back to the main database every time. I mentioned and talked about these. So I said that it helps speed things up, especially when the same data is requested often. And now Huawei Cloud's distributed cache service takes this to the next level. Our service is a fully managed in-memory caching service that really boosts the performance of your apps. It supports the caching service engines that are mostly used, Redis and Memcached, both of which are for high-speed read and write operations. Plus, it's super scalable and reliable. This makes our distributed cache service, DCS, perfect for real-time applications. Think like gaming, when you're gaming online with your friends, you're all, you're all accessing a cloud and then playing online. You don't have that, game on your local. So this is a real-time application. This is what it uses is actually distributed cache service. So social media or e-commerce platforms where there's a lot of users and tons of requests happening at the same time. So it handles high concurrency like a professional. And on top of that, it offers high availability with automatic failover to make sure your service keeps running. And it's got strong security features like VPC isolation and password protection to keep your data safe. I mean, does any of us think about this when we are gaming online, about all of the underlying infrastructure? But here we are. Let's remember what the API management middleware does, because we will talk about API gateway. So API management middleware is all about managing and controlling how different applications communicate with each other through the APIs. It's the layer that handles API security routing and makes sure everything flows smoothly between services. Now, Huawei Cloud API Gateway is designed to make all of that really easy. It's a fully managed service that lets you create, secure, and manage APIs. You don't have to worry about the backend setup. It's built for high performance and scalability. So this means it can handle a lot of traffic and automatically adjust to keep everything running smoothly. 1 second, I will check something. Sorry. I'm not showing myself on the screen. And okay. Do they see my presentation? Okay. So what was I saying? I was saying that it's built for high performance and scalability and automatic traffic control. And I was saying that the best part of it is that it ensures API security. It has built-in authentication, rate limiting, and IP filtering. So you can control who accesses your APIs and how often. It also supports multiple protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, and WebSocket. So this means it's very flexible for different types of applications, and it's perfect for exposing services, integrating apps, and especially for building microservices architectures. So here, you need to connect many small services efficiently. This is, happening with the API. You put an API between the services and they communicate with each other through the API. And Huawei Cloud API Gateway handles all the complexity, so, you can just focus on your application. I'm sorry, I'll check this again. Just want to see if I'm showing myself on the screen. Yes. So let's talk about the distributed message service called Kafka. Then we will talk about the distributed message service for RabbitMQ, then for RocketMQ. And those three services, they all fall under the MOM, message-oriented middleware. So I saw somebody asking which is the most powerful middleware service. So one of the most commonly used, by most powerful, I think about the most commonly used, and one of the most commonly used services is actually Kafka. So it is one of the most powerful. So let's remind you what the distributed service is. like I said, it falls under the message-oriented middleware. And message-oriented middleware is all about enabling different systems to communicate through messages. It's great for systems that need to exchange data, even if they are not running at the same time. And now I told you that Kafka is a really popular tool in this space. And it is a distributed messaging system that handles real-time data streams. So what makes Kafka special? What makes Kafka special is its ability to process huge amounts of data really quickly. It's perfect for real-time analytics, log processing, event streaming. And if you want an example, just think about, if you need to handle millions of events every second, Kafka can manage that easily. So what does Huawei add to this? What does Huawei Cloud Distributed Message Service for Kafka do? It is a fully managed version of Kafka. And what does it mean? It means that you don't have to worry about setting up or managing the infrastructure. It's built for high throughput and low latency, which means it can process a lot of that data really fast. This is perfect for apps like gaming, finance, or any platform that needs to deal with a ton of real-time data. It also takes care of high availability with automatic failover and data replication. So this ensures your data is always safe and available, even if something goes wrong. And it integrates smoothly with other Huawei cloud services, so you can easily build and scale your applications, of course. And in short, if I tell you, Huawei Kafka service gives you all the power of real-time data streaming with the ease of a managed cloud service. You get the speed, you get the scalability and reliability without the hassle of managing it yourself. Basically what cloud does for you. So I told you about the Kafka, right? They're all falling under the middleware, message-oriented middleware, right? So what does RabbitMQ do? So RabbitMQ is also a message-oriented middleware, but the way it works is a bit different. While Kafka is all about real-time data streaming and handling huge volumes of data quickly, RabbitMQ is more focused on asynchronous messaging and message queuing. So RabbitMQ is great for situations where you need to decouple systems, meaning different parts of your app can run independently without waiting on each other. So what is an example? Let's say one system sends a message, but the other one isn't ready to process it yet. That's where RabbitMQ shines. That's where it comes to play. It queues the messages and delivers them when the receiving system is ready. So what does our Huawei Cloud Distributed Message Service for RabbitMQ do? It is a fully managed version of RabbitMQ. You don't have to handle the infrastructure yourself. It makes sure your messages are reliably delivered with high availability features like automatic failover and message persistence. That means if something goes wrong, your data is still safe and your messages will get to where they need to be. So this service is perfect for use cases like task management. I couldn't talk. For task management, event-driven architectures, and background processing. Any situation where you want to ensure reliable communication between systems, even if they're not running at the same time, because this is what basically RabbitMQ does. It takes the message, queues them up, and delivers it to the other system when it is ready to receive it. So in short, RabbitMQ is ideal for asynchronous message processing and reliable delivery, while Kafka focuses on real-time data streaming and high throughput. So each has its strengths depending on what you need. And let's look at RocketMQ. Like RabbitMQ and Kafka, RocketMQ is also part of message-oriented middleware, MOM, but it's built for different tasks. So RocketMQ is great for high-speed messaging, message processing, and handling large amounts of data. It's perfect for event-driven systems and transactional messaging. And if I tell you one cool thing about RocketMQ, it is that it can manage scheduled messages and track where messages go with message tracing. So if you need to send messages at specific times or follow the flow of messages, RecordsMQ is perfect for you. So what does Huawei Cloud distributed message service for RecordsMQ do? What does it offer? Like the others, it is a fully managed service by us. You don't have to worry about managing the servers. We ensure high availability with an automatic failover and data replication by keeping your system running even if something goes wrong. And it supports asynchronous messaging, but it is designed for more complex, large-scale event processing. This service works best for transactional systems like in finance or e-commerce, where you need to process lots of events or transactions quickly. It's also ideal for when you need to schedule messages or track their progress. So in short, our RecordsMQ handles large-scale event processing and transactional messaging. So what is different from Kafka? It's different from Kafka because Kafka focuses on data streaming, and RabbitMQ, which is about more reliable and message queuing. And this one is also about transactional systems like finance or e-commerce. So let's continue with our Huawei Cloud Service Engine, known as CSE. Our CSE is a cloud middleware designed for microservice applications. So it's a cloud middleware that helps manage microservices, basically. And in simple terms, it helps different parts of your app, the microservices, talk to each other and stay connected. But why do we need CSE, the cloud service engine? So when you have many microservices, managing them, just imagine managing them. Managing them can get really, really complicated, and each service has to register itself, find other services, and sometimes there are many copies or instances of the same service running. So our cloud service engine does all of that for you. It makes sure services are registered and easily discovered when needed. It also balances the load if one service gets too busy. So basically, it's doing the load balancing so that services don't get too busy. And where does CSE really need help? Just imagine you're working with apps like online shopping platforms or banking systems where there are tons of microservices doing different tasks, because in those complicated apps there are many different features, and imagine all of them as tiny microservices by themselves. So CSE, our cloud service engine, helps make sure that all these services can communicate efficiently. So handles user requests smoothly and stays up even if there are issues. And cloud service engine helps with service governance. So what does it mean? It means that it manages rules like how to balance traffic, limit the rate of requests, and adjust service policies on the go. You can set these rules during development or even after your system is live. It is flexible and makes it easier to manage services as they grow. And another great feature is configuration management. So if you need to change settings for a service, Cloud Service Engine, CSE, lets you do that centrally. You can manage configurations across many services, roll back changes, and even track different versions. So this is really helpful when you're dealing with complex systems or making updates. If I tell you in short, Cloud Service Engine simplifies microservice management. It helps with service discovery, governance, and configuration. So this keeps your app running smoothly and lets you scale up easily when you need. So I will continue with the second round of Kahoot, but before I continue, I would like to make a recap from the we started after the first round of Kahoot with distributed cache service. I told you that it's an in-memory caching service that accelerates data access, so you don't have to query from your database each time. It supports Redis and Memcache, which are two cache service engines. I told you that it is ideal for applications like online gaming, social media, and e-commerce platforms. And it provides high availability, and it has security features like VPC isolation and password protection. And then I continued with API gateway. I said that we have this service. It's basically letting you create, secure, and manage your APIs. And it has multi-protocol integration, including the HTTP, HTTPS, and WebSocket. And it is ideal for exposing services, integrating applications, and building microservice architectures. Then I continued with the distributed message service services we have for Kafka, RabbitMQ, and RocketMQ. So what they do is, letting the microservices talk to each other. If I tell you what the message-oriented system does, you will remember. So basically what it does was that, it lets the applications communicate, the systems communicate with each other through the messages. So it's, enables different systems to communicate through messages. Great for systems that need to exchange data, even if they're not running at the same time, even if one of them is not ready to receive that message yet. Then I continued with Cloud Service Engine. I said that it simplifies microservice management, helps with service discovery, governance, and configuration. So let me proceed with the second round of Kahoot. All right. It's good to see new names like Thomas, Lila, Karim. I don't know what that means. Karim. Nice to see you, Melike, again. All right. I will wait a few minutes more so that more people can register. All right, I will start in 1 minute. So there were more people and they dropped somehow, like Karim. So today we talked about what middleware is, where it originated from, the years, and what common middleware services are, and the Huawei cloud solutions for those middleware services. I hope you all had good information, great insights, and if you're more curious about it, you can check them out, our solutions on huaweicloud.com. And if you're more interested about the open source and what the services are, you can always explore and find on internet. So I will start now. The The first question is a true-false. Middleware only works in real-time systems and cannot handle asynchronous communication. All right, congratulations for everyone who has responded correctly. So let's see the scoreboard. Number 1 is Omar. Congratulations, Omar, for being the fastest and the truest. So which of the following middleware services is used for managing microservices? This is the last service that I was talking about. All right, congratulations, everybody. Let's see who's the winner. Congratulations, Abdurrahman, for being the 3rd place, and 2nd place, Hakan, and the 1st place is Omar. Congratulations. Please text us on our Huawei Egypt WhatsApp group, so we can send you your gifts. And like I said, thank you so much for joining us, joining me today. I have covered starting from the definition of middleware, where it originated from, the common types of middleware, and Huawei Cloud solutions for those middleware services. We have covered a lot, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you gained valuable insights about them. And if it intrigued your attention, you can always find more information on Huawei Cloud for those middleware services. And these are our developer group. These are our QRs for our social media accounts. This is for Instagram and for Facebook and for WhatsApp, the winners and whoever wants to join the WhatsApp group. We make announcements on there about the events and about DTTs. So I hope you all enjoyed this week's session, and see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. I will end the session here now. So take care. And sorry, if you have any questions, please tell me. And if you think of your question later, you can put it on WhatsApp. All right, bye.